What's up, everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items, and last night I won $3,000. So in this video, we're going to talk about the lineups that I made yesterday, and take a look at everything for tomorrow. Talk about some of my thoughts and like why I played the type of lineup that I did. But before we do any of that, we're going to do a longer version of the theme song for the channel because we all love listening to that, especially when I win. So let's do that now.
Pico money, we making Pico money. Payday, about to throw a rack on China. Need some DFS advice, where can I find some? League of Items got the sheet with all the lineups and all the stacks that you need to get to diamond. League of Items!
Getting gold, that's the goal. Keep on winning on a roll. Kill 4 dragons, got soul. Now you got nowhere to go. Teleporting top to bot. Dive your carry on the spot. That's an ace. Wreck your base. Wear my crown. We on top.
He a legend. He a legend indeed. So we got a chop for first place last night. I only played 4 lineups because it's a 2-game slate, but I wanted to have some action out there, so I chopped it 6 ways with Tecmo27, Mr. Good Seats, Refresh, Fall from Grace, Russell D07, and myself. They had a bunch of different lineups that had chances on it. I had one that had a chance at getting solo first as well, which was this lineup. But let's go through all 4 of my lineups. On the slate last night, we had EDG against Ultra Prime, and we had JDG against LGD. So my thought process was, I think that more people are going to think that LGD is a live dog against JDG. In my mind, and I think that this probably came through in the video last night, LGD against JDG is tough because Shadow is the strong point of LGD in my mind, and Kanavi is the strong point of JDG. So it's tough to see that resulting in something good for LGD. So I thought to myself, I'd rather get some more exposure to the Ultra Prime side, because when I was looking at the lineups last night, I understand that EDG are the world champions, but all you need is a 2-1, and that's exactly what we got last night. So, like Flandre against ZS, that was really the matchup that I thought Ultra Prime had the best chance at. I think top lane's relatively close. I think that Jai Jai's a little bit better than Hacker in like a noticeable way. And then Cryan against Scout, I think, is favored towards Scout, but is a little overblown, probably. And then bot lane, I love Elk. I think that Elk and Xiaoxi are a good bot lane. Xiaoxi didn't play that well in the 3rd game, and ultimately I think he's probably the reason they lost, which I'm not trying to flame him or anything. But I think that kind of caused that loss last night. Let me make this a little bigger. All right, I'm not trying to make it that big. So I made 4 lineups, and we'll do them in the order that I created them last night. So first, I did JDG with Ultra Prime, and this lineup had Hope, 369, Kanavi, Cryan, Elk, missing an Ultra Prime. So this was projecting an Ultra Prime upset. I figured if they finished the upset, or if they even just made it competitive, this type of lineup has a chance to finish really high. And it also gives me all the 2-0 game not playeds from JDG. But after I made the first one, I was thinking to myself, I don't really necessarily believe in Ultra Prime to pull off the upset completely. So then my second lineup I made was a JDG lineup with as many players from EG as I could, and then swapping into the top to get to fit all the salaries together. And one of the only reasons that this was possible is because Hope was listed as the second most expensive AD carry, and that's one thing I always look for on DraftKings is like mispriced players or like a substitute playing, because that $200 difference allows you to get combinations that you normally don't. So in this one I had Viper. He put up 121.14 and was outscored by Hope, who without like the captain multiplier, which is pretty insane. So Hope had a great night yesterday. But I threw ZS in there because I figured that he has a good pedigree. People think highly of him in China. He was the backup for the Shy, which obviously that's kind of a logjam at Invictus Gaming for the past couple of years. Like, you don't expect someone to take over the Shy, but once the Shy left, before the Shy left, ZS I guess had enough and he wanted out. So then he went over to Ultra Prime, and I think that there were definitely some spots last year where I played him with the thought that he had good upside, and he didn't play amazingly well in this game, but in a meta where you can get Gwen. Like, when he locked in Gwen in the last game, I thought I had a legitimate chance at first place, and it ended up hitting. But this lineup would have come in solo first, which would have been 10K instead of 3K. So I was 24 points behind. So let's see what that looks like. Yeah, so it's all the same players. It's just flipping Viper and Hope. And that's exactly why I made that second lineup, because I knew that there was enough salary to get there, and that ended up being the one that won the contest. So I did have one LGD lineup, just on the off chance that JDG threw up a stinker. And the other reason I felt justified in doing this is because JDG had a ton of deaths in their matches, like last week or earlier this week. And then the final lineup, like I said before, was a reverse of that other lineup. So I had Hope. And again, the only reason this was possible to do it this way is because of that difference in salary, because he was listed as a backup. So overall, I had 3105 in winnings. I only played 4 lineups, so I bet $60, won 3,100. That's pretty good to me. So I'm definitely in the money so far this year. I had a couple close calls where I was like tied for second or like chopping second after a bunch of people in first. So overall, I'm very happy, obviously. So let's talk about tomorrow's games. So first up, we have Damwon Kia against Nongshim. Damwon is a minus 312 favorite, implied to win 76% of the time. Nongshim plus 229 implied to win about 30% of the time, or the break even is 30%. And then the second match, we have KT against LSB. KT 70% favorite. Hanwha Life coming off of their loss to Fredit Brion, which is a bad loss. Maybe I think too much of that loss, but I was on Hanwha Life, so I'm annoyed. So we have Birdall against Kana. I think that's probably just Kana favored straight up. Or Hoya against Kana. If it's Hoya against Kana, it's definitely Kana favored. Birdall against Kana, I think the talent is close. I think that Kana is the more proven player at this point. And I'm not even sure who the starting top laner is going to be in that match, so watch out before lineup lock. Canyon against Dread, definitely Canyon favored. Showmaker against BDD, definitely Showmaker favored. And then we have Diokdom and Kellen against Ghost and probably Peter. Actually, I think Effort is supposed to be the starter, but there was something that happened before the last match that Peter had to play. So definitely watch out for the roster information if you're going to play Nongshim. They might talk about this like a revenge game. I'd be pretty shocked if Ghost and Peter or Effort are able to compete with Diokdom and Kellen. I think that Damwon is just the better team in 4 of those spots. The drafts would have to go pretty bad for Damwon to lose to Nongshim. So I think it's pretty easy to just support Damwon, hope that they get a 2-0, so use them in the team slot, support slot, or really the support slot and the team slot you feel really good about in the chance they go 2-0. And you get a little bit of a discount on both of those spots. So those are two good spots to throw into lineups. And then we'll do the other Korea match. So Rascal against Dudu. Rascal's definitely better. Cuz or Gideon against On Fleek or Willer. I'm surprised Willer is not the one that's playing. Aria against Karis. Can't really tell a huge difference in Karis' gameplay from this split. I just don't know much about them. And then we have Aiming and Life against Samd and Vista. I would prefer the Aiming side. I think Aiming is the best player out of all 4 of those. Samd had some good performances in China, but we're not in China anymore. And then in the LPL, we have World Elite against Top Esports. So Top Esports minus 526 against World Elite plus 358. I think it's almost impossible to make this kind of bet on World Elite. They need Beishang back before I can put money on them. So I will not be playing them on DraftKings. I'm not going to put a bet on them in real life. Zoom against Bubu. Zoom is just better. Xiaopeng against View. I don't really know what that matchup looks like. Knight against Shanks. Knight is better. Jackie Love and Zhuo against Stay and Kadaya. I prefer Top Esports. And then LNG against Invictus Gaming. LNG minus 625. Instagram. Invictus Gaming plus 412. So Ale, like I've said in the past, I think Ale is kind of overrated at this point. Still a good player and better than Nenny. That's all that really matters for this video. Tarzan against Shun. I think that Tarzan's a better player. You would hope that Shun has some chances at flipping this matchup. And I think it's possible, just unlikely. I don't think that I can... I just don't think I can trust Invictus Gaming at all. Would I be shocked if LNG had some kind of shock upset at some point this year? No. I just don't think it's going to be Invictus Gaming. Yukai looks like he's somebody who can do damage. I just don't think I can pick against LNG right now. Who was their last match? Let's see. LNG against Rare Atom. They almost lost that one. LNG against Ultra Prime. I'm trying to think to myself, do I think that Hanwha Life or LNG is the better underdog? I think that one of those two are the underdog you want to get access to tomorrow. I need to see how these lineups kind of fit together. But that's kind of what my thought process is going into that, because you need to have underdogs that you think have realistic chances of winning or making the match close, because that's where you're going to get a little bit of depressed ownership and like a better chance to chop it a smaller number of times, either through like unique lineup construction or team combination. So I think, who do I like more, Invictus Gaming or Hanwha Life? Definitely Invictus. Invictus Gaming has lost to OMG. OMG is a good team. Probably an underrated team. So Invictus Gaming beat Thunder Talk. That's not going to make us think more highly of them. Losing to OMG is not going to make me think less of them. I think it's Invictus Gaming. All right, so you got to go Invictus Gaming, I think, as the best underdog on the slate. My favorite would be Top Esports. So that's probably a spot that most people are going to look at tomorrow, where you try to combine Top Esports. I think more people. I'd be interested to see how high ownership gets on Tarzan and Xiaopeng, because I think a lot of people are just going to go jungle captain, hope they fit together. Let's see how bad it is. So you want to go cheaper, cheaper, cheaper. Mm. 2100. Drop that. Now you're 1500 over. Then you can get 400 there, 400 there. Can't really do that. Maybe you have to go double top. Let's see. KT LNG. So we want Xiaopeng. Then you go with Hoya. Then you go with... then you probably go with Canyon. Doinby. That fits. That's pretty ugly, though. You can probably do better. Take that out, put in Tarzan. That's not bad. Take that out, put in Top Esports. Probably take that back out, go that, and then do this. Knight and Xiaopeng. So there are a lot of ways to fit the favorites together, which is going to be interesting from a lineup construction perspective. I'm gonna have to take a look at my sheet. I think, like for me, I'm really not gonna play that much more or less because I won yesterday. I'm probably just gonna do like between 5 to 10 lineups. That's just normally what I'm looking at most nights. I kind of just try to pick 2 teams that I want to build most of my lineups around, and then sneak in a third team and a fourth team potentially. I think that in general, it's China, then Korea. So it would be Top Esports, LNG, Damwon, KT. In terms of 2-0, I think that Top Esports and Damwon are the most likely to go 2-0. So I guess those are just a few things I'd kind of watch out for tomorrow. But that's basically it. So a good night yesterday. I'm very happy. But that's about it. That's all I got for you. It's looking like another favorites night. If I had to play an underdog, it's going to be Invictus. So that's it. Thanks for watching. And I'll talk to you later.